All right, so we want to change this out. So we'll have the same functionality as far as power system, but we'll add solar charging, micro wind, with the stuff we were using in the ongoing effect module. And then I want to add satellite communication, iridium capability, like a rock block type thing. So this would be the central ring leader, this would be air dispersed. And what we're trying to allow is for, wide area network, like text messaging capability, that kind of thing, communication capability with the existing cell phones that are there, or communicators we bring into the theater, with our emergency personnel and stuff like that. And in addition to having that localized functionality of being able to text back and forth, or text one another, or receive, broadcast, emergency warnings, communications, that kind of thing, we would also have access, from anywhere in the globe, to that network and whatever was covered by it. So it'd be one larger piece of equipment, with more capability, and then many nodes out around it, like just basically an air dispersed network. We'd have it hanging up in the trees. It'd be charging itself with solar, micro wind, and just to allow for very basic communications, and then also environmental monitoring, as far as it'll have an array of sensors that will be able to detect, whatever we're looking for, whether it's barometric pressure, smoke in the air, wind direction, radiation. We could even get it into different kinds of sensors, as far as, like use a formaldehyde sensor, like some of those cheap formaldehyde sensors. So that, not necessarily for formaldehyde, but we know when we see spikes in those types of pass-through sensors, that we're getting other chemicals, and we can diagnose them even though they're not formaldehyde or formaldehyde derivatives or whatever like that. So just basically a communication, kind of archetype here. It's based, for, emergency communications, quickly dispersible by air, and then with a sweetener, nodes that are gathering data on environmental variables that may be pertinent at the time, or we may set up with a broad range. It might not need the MBC type detectors, but it has them, or we might find multiple uses for individual detection apparatuses. So that's where we're going with it. It's an air dispersible communications network that charges itself based on micro wind, micro solar, and we're looking for some kind of functionality for a certain portion of the day. We're not looking for full coverage all the time. It is a, foot in the door. You fly a drone over from wherever in the world, it disperses hundreds of these in the various patterns, with the better ones, landing at the center of these wide area networks or whatever like that, these low rod networks. And then from there, that radio communication, we had the satellite accessibility. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your time and your patience.